The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
That's right. Welcome to the Couch Live here on WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network where we stream solutions.
Yes, we do.
I am the street-certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado here with you, along with my partner, of course, Trinity Phillips, the Dharma Guy. There he is. How you doing, Trinity?
Hey, what is up?
Brother, it's a beautiful Friday. It's warming up. Your favorite time of year, Trinity?
Actually, you know what? I just replaced the blower motor in my truck. So my AC was on full blast on the way here.
Blower motor?
Yes.
Wait, did you say you replaced it?
Yes.
Like your hands, you did the job?
Yes, these hammocks right here.
I don't know about that now. That's
right.
Good job.
That's
Must be
right.
the CBD oil. Must be the CBD oil.
Yeah, you didn't read that? That's one of the
Facts
the
or
results.
fiction, people? We're talking about CBD oil today here on the Couch Live. Facts or fiction? Apparently, we just learned that taking CBD oil also allows you
to change a
brand new
blower.
knowledge. It's like knowledge points on a video game.
That's right, man.
Trinity,
Oh.
you just achieved knowledge points of how
That's
to fix
right.
a
I
blower.
leveled up.
You level. Yes. See,
I like
maybe
it.
the people are right. Maybe the people are right. No,
Sure.
Look, I'm just playing, but look, in reality, we're talking about CBD oil today because it's such a big conversation.
It's huge right now.
Today. It's a huge
It's
conversation.
really huge right now. Everywhere you go.
Everywhere you go, people are talking about, CBD oil. What's the truth? What's not the truth? And, of course, this is a show that focuses on addiction and recovery and all things in between. And so we're highly interested. People in recovery are highly interested.
Yeah.
Some because they wish that they can go back to smoking pot again, and therefore anything even close remotely to pot.
Which this technically really isn't.
Yep. But as long as
That's
it's
part of the fact
as long as
fiction
it's
part,
a cousin,
Yeah, right.
people get interested.
It's the same color.
it's the same looking plant. Like I used to have a false Aurelia plant. You know what a false Aurelia is?
No.
All right, I had a plant in my house. It was a false Aurelia. It was a fake looking marijuana plant. It was in that sativa family, not the cannabis sativa family. Cannabis sativa obviously is 3 different other variations, but it was in the sativa family. And so it had the look, but it had the real long leaves. They looked the same, but they were really extra long. And I tried like a failure to grow real pot in it, but real pot was always more green. Like it was a darker green.
Okay.
And it was a real pot always was a lot lighter green, and then because it was in my room and it didn't get enough sun, they would always get like real tall and then just flop sideways. But instead of throwing them away, I still ate them every time. I just whatever.
Sure.
That was a long time ago, Trini.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're talking about CBD oil today. We have fully accepted, and we didn't announce it on this show. We haven't had this show.
You're right.
But on Dharma Time, which is another show here on the Problem Solving Network, Dharma Time, which airs every Tuesday, 1 to 2 p.m., and of course throughout the day, and it's available on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com/Dharma Time, you can find that episode and many more. Trinity
You're
and
on the ball lately.
Yeah.
Hold on. Did I start that a couple weeks ago, and you're just like going to pick up where I left off?
It's the CBD oil.
I like it. It is. It has to be.
That's what it is.
I like it.
So we accepted the CBD oil challenge, and what was happening was Trinity and I have various pains. We have various aches and pains, and neither Trinity or I like pain medication.
Correct.
We don't want to take any pills. We don't want to take anything for pain.
I had other issues as well, not just the pain, but yeah.
Right, he's going through menopause, and
That's right.
he didn't want to really fully
Exactly.
talk about that. And so anyway,
I'm not lactating anymore. That's a good thing.
that was real messy, actually. But we accepted a challenge. We've had several companies approach us, and then a very good friend of ours, of mine, especially Dr. Neil Weeder, from, what is it, the Pure Clinic?
Hold on. He texted us.
Lake
I want to
Mary?
make sure I get it right.
Yeah, make sure you get it right, because he corrected us last time.
Yes, apparently we said it wrong
Yeah, we
last
said it
time. All right, so let me see. It was, he says, hey guys.
Just give me the name of the company.
Dr. Neil Weeder of
Right.
Pure CBD Oil
Right.
Orlando in Lake Mary.
Wait, the company name is Pure CBD Oil Orlando?
That's what it says.
You know when you're selling a hell of a lot of CBD oil when you change your name to Pure CBD Oil. I thought it was the Pure Clinic, but okay. Dr. Neil Weeder is a chiropractor that I've known for many, many years. And he is always, on that edge of finding out, what best nutritionally to help people naturally. Obviously a chiropractor puts hands on you,
Right.
so they don't use medication. They use natural products. He uses acupuncture, cupping, all kinds of things with his wife, Dr. Sheila Scott, who's a doctor of Chinese medicine, and Dr. Weeder is a chiropractor.
Right on.
So I've known them for a very long time. And so we spoke, and I said, listen, we're going through a lot of aches and pains. We've been wanting to have a show on CBD oil because there's
Yes.
a lot of people, a lot of you out there that are in recovery or just a little bit more conscious than the average folks, and you don't want to have a problem with drugs. You don't want to have an issue with addiction, and you wanted to know the difference between, the facts and the fiction of what's talked about with CBD oil. Like, can it really help me?
Right.
Is it really useful? And we're going to do a part 2 show, where we're going to talk about anxiety, depression, mental health disorders, addiction, and how CBD relates to that.
Right.
But this part 1 series is more about just getting to know what CBD oil is.
Sure.
What is it? What are the facts about it? What are the misconceptions or fiction about it? And we accepted the challenge of starting to take it. So before we get all into that, though, Trinity, I didn't know I was committing a crime.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I made a Valiant. Is it Valiant, or am I saying that right?
Whatever
the
you
Valiant
want.
effort.
It's your show, dude. You say whatever you want.
You know what? That's what happens when English is your second language. I made an effort. How about just throw the damn word out of it? If you can't, if you don't know if that word is the right word, just throw it out. That's what you should do. Actually, you just don't even try to use it. So I made an effort in my life to be honest and to do
Right.
things on the up and up and legal. So this lady gets arrested at Disney
Yes.
the other day. So I called
CBD
you
oil.
for CBD oil. She has
Yeah.
CBD oil, and the Disney police,
The
which
Disney-
apparently are friggin' brutal.
Actually, Stephanie will know about that because she's watching at the moment.
Well.
she works at Disney.
They arrested this lady.
The-
now
the
it
Disney
went,
police.
spent 6 hours in jail for nothing.
Yeah. Apparently, she was like a grandma
But
too.
they let her go. Yeah, an old lady.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So anyway, friggin' criminal,
It's a horrible person.
horrible person. So anyway, I didn't know I was committing a crime. Now here's the thing, Trinity. I've been flying.
That's crazy to me.
I've
right?
been
Hold
on
up. That right there alone is what I find crazy. Is the
What,
fact
I've been
that
on airlines.
you're taking this through like
Customs,
airport
I've been-
security.
I've been taking it through airport security.
and nobody said a word. Disney throws the woman in the slammer.
Apparently, the Disney police are more severe than TSA. So, to the airline industry, you should hire Disney employees,
Right? What the heck?
because apparently nobody be getting on an airplane with any kind of
Yeah.
nothingness
That's insane to me.
if you hire Disney employees. Because my
Yeah.
God, this woman got arrested for CBD oil, but I've been allowed to fly all over the United States with my CBD oil.
Right on.
So anyway, I didn't know I was committing a crime.
There's a lot of
So
hype.
apparently, I'm in possession of a criminal. Here's the
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
we're
Put it
taking.
all over the air.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
and now
mine.
I'm broadcasting like an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm like one of those teenagers all of a
He's got
sudden
it,
say,
not
420,
me.
bro, 420, and they're showing themselves smoke, and then they're wondering why their parents found out they got high. I'm like one of those idiots right now.
That's awesome.
Jesus Christ, 49 years old, and I'm going to end up going to jail for stupid. See, all the shit I've done in my life, Trinity.
Then you're fine.
All the
This
crime that
you're
I
done.
committed in my life, and I'm going to go to jail for this stupid little bottle.
You got to be calling Dana for some bail money.
Dana would never bail me out.
But there is so much hype,
She
though.
would say, you're an idiot. You should have known that in the first place.
There's so much hype
So much.
surrounding CBD
So
oil, though. I think that's why I think is the interesting part of this particular show is
Yeah.
because Yeah, I think there's addiction components to it as well. Like a lot of people who are in the recovery world are curious about it.
Right.
But the first off, I made a couple posts a while back about my wife dealing with something, pain wise. This is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's called a 300-pound monster of a husband.
Yeah,
that's what
I
she's dealing
think
with.
this was like about like a year ago.
You're the biggest pain she had.
Exactly. I think it was roughly a year ago. I posted something about her neck pain.
Yeah.
And I was inundated with a bunch of people who were offering me CBD.
Okay.
And I was like, at the time I didn't know anything about it. I was like, whatever, man. I'm good. Thank you for I completely blew them off.
Right.
But then, when we started doing this, I've reached out to a few of them to let them know that, all right, we're taking it serious now.
Sure.
But I've had so many people, like, once they found out we're doing this challenge, people are coming out of the woodwork asking for it. Like, I want some. It's like, whoa.
It's amazing.
There's so much hype surrounding CBD at the moment.
And hold on, because we're not going to promote it yet. So everybody just wait on purchasing your CBD. We got to check it out first.
Yes.
This is our investigation. So Trinity started taking it, I started taking it, and a third party.
Yes.
We had a third party that had a little bit more severe started taking it. That way you have our pains and then that person's pains.
Correct.
And so we could start evaluating what it really is.
Yes.
Right? So this is a show, like I said, about facts and fiction. And again, it's not supposed to be illegal in Florida. It's not supposed. It's just the governor just hasn't signed the document. The voters already voted it.
Correct. Because Claire was asking the CBD against the law.
It's not supposed to be.
It's not really. Federally, it's legal.
Yeah.
Federally, it's legal.
Isn't that backwards
usually?
Each
Each state has their own laws regarding it. The problem is they've somehow, some way, they've lumped it in with marijuana, so it's being treated as the same class, even though it's not really the same.
And whereas marijuana is legal in some states, federally, it's still illegal, which is so.
Yeah, it's topsy-turvy.
The feds in the state they never seem to be on the same page.
They can't get along.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna have Dr. Neil Weeder on, and then I'm gonna take my morning dose.
Oh, you're going to do it live on the air?
I'm going to do it live on the air.
Look at that.
I'm going to commit a crime live on the air.
Exactly.
I'm a rebel, Trinity.
Yeah.
I'm a rebel, bro. So go ahead and why don't you tell everybody who our sponsors are while I get Dr. Weeder on the phone, will you?
Will do. All right, so sponsors, we'll get them out of the way now.
They're going to be happy that we're talking about CBD oil.
Hey, sponsors. We're talking about, we have Retreat Behavioral Health. It's been with us since day one, actually, I think, as well as Journey Pure. Both of those are treatment facilities that we do a lot of work with that are fantastic places. We have Orange County Drug Free Coalition, which I just saw a commercial the other day that we had on TV. I had no clue we even had a commercial. No idea. And then, of course, last but not least is the Now Matters More Foundation, which he's wearing a shirt. You can find more about us at nowmattersmore.org. You can donate and find out what we're all about. Or you can call 833-NOW-MATTERS.
That's right.
That's 833-NOW-MATTERS.
That's right.
And I think we got Dr. Weeder on the phone.
All right, Dr. Neil Weeder, you there?
I'm here.
Oh, there we
There
go.
he is.
Trinity and the dope doctor, Dr. Louis Delgado.
That's right. Yep, man, I like to play one on TV and radio.
Okay, well, great to hear from you guys.
What's happening,
And,
Dr. Weeder?
How can I be of service to you and your listeners today?
Well, well, as you know, Trinity and I are deep in this CBD oil challenge, and apparently you're getting a lot of airplay recently. Because wait, Trinity, did you even see that? So he's scheduled to be on our show today, right?
Yeah, he's got another one coming up.
So first of all, Dr. Weeder's so damn busy that selling CBD oil and cracking backs that he can't be here in person.
Yeah,
and then he tells us, well, you know what? You only have till 12:45 because I got to do Channel 2 news now too. You've been on every news station for the last 2 weeks. This is hot news.
Doesn't your heart just bleed for me?
This is hot news.
Yeah.
This is big news. This is why we're doing the show. This is big news, right?
Yeah.
Dr. Weeder?
It really is. But you know something? Okay, it's a turning point because there's so many healing remedies that have been available for centuries on the earth, okay, that we're now just been tapping into, okay, and it's been a rude awakening for the medical field. The only problem that comes down is that every time something good comes, the medical field tries to, scoop it up and bury it, or claim it as their own, and then people suffer because it's all about making money. For us, it's not about making money because I'm not a wealthy millionaire. It's about helping people, okay, that need help without the use of narcotic medication and drugs when appropriate. You know, I mean, medication is needed many times, but a lot of times the medical fields, okay, and you know the owners and the manufacturers of OxyContin, okay, are now under the scrutiny because it was all about making money and making armies of people become addicts, and it's scary stuff.
Yeah, you're not kidding there. But let me pause for a second though. Let's not pretend that this isn't about making money as well. I mean, yeah, it's about helping people get better, but there's a huge money making opportunity here as well.
Well, I'm not saying there isn't, but what I'm saying is, when you know, for myself as a small local practitioner, okay, it was an opportunity to supplement my income, not replace it. But before I do something in my office, and you know me a long time,
right?
Okay, if it doesn't have a value,
right,
and I know the same about you, okay, you wouldn't be doing what you do, okay, if it didn't represent to your client base and to the thousands that you help, if it wasn't having a good clinical outcome.
Damn straight.
You know, because you can't sell what you don't own and you don't believe.
Right.
You know, and I'm the same way. I spent 2 years of doing research before I took on certain products in my office, okay, because I didn't like the way they were. You know, some of them were charging more money than they needed to, okay. You know, so if I could bring to the marketplace a reasonably priced product that helps people, like yesterday, I'll give an example. I had a dentist came in. I met him after hours. His mother is being treated for chemotherapy for lung cancer. Now, I'm not making any claims that it treats lung cancer, and neither did he. But his mother was bedridden. She couldn't get out of bed, okay, for almost a month, okay. She took some of my product that a neighbor got for her, okay, and in 2 days, she was able to walk to the kitchen, okay, and eat breakfast. She was still in agony because she was having pain, so he came in and we worked some things out, got us some nutritional products on top of that, okay, and he was just said, Dr. Weeder, it's been a godsend that my mother can sit with her grandchildren and have breakfast and dinner when before she was in bed having to be waited on hand and foot.
Right.
So when I hear those stories, it's like that gets me excited.
Okay.
You know.
And there are stories like that, and that's what got us interested, because we did hear stories like that, and so Trinity and I and another third person all started this challenge, which you in your office were so graciously provided us some products. So here I'm showing. I know you're not on Facebook Live, so I'm showing it. It says hemp oil on it. So first of all, since this is a show about fact and fiction, first, why does it say hemp oil on it, not CBD oil on it?
Well, the federales, or the federal government, okay, has started the ball rolling in trying to control the dosaging of CBD oil. So a lot of manufacturers, okay, and it hasn't been made into law yet, but based upon discussions with people in the legislature, with manufacturers that I know around the country, some of them are beating the horse to the gate by changing it to the word hemp, because the word CBD is going to be controlled by the government,
and it's like synonymous with pot for a lot of people for some reason.
Right, and then from the money making standpoint, okay, if you want to sell something on Amazon.com, if it says CBD, you can't sell it.
Oh.
It has to say hemp.
Oh.
But I don't sell anything on CBD, even though some of my products are on there by other people that sell it.
Oh.
So that's the other reason. But the main reason was the controlling. So, for example, I have a product that the CBD comes from Switzerland, okay, and it's made it's put together by a company that I've done business with for 35 years, okay, but they call it hemp complex or hemp oil complex. Okay. They will not say CBD anywhere on the packaging, okay, because of the anticipation of what's coming down the pike.
So instead of anticipating that it's all going to be better coming down the pike, they think it's going to get worse.
Well, no. A lot of the big manufacturers are already in the process, okay, of building in their facilities clean rooms, which are the same kind of rooms that they have in pharmaceutical companies, because the FDA is going to start requiring that everything be produced in clean rooms. Some of them already are being produced in the laboratories in that, but some of the other companies are starting to process things in their own. They bottle it themselves, okay, and a lot of them do it in warehouses, okay, in a clean environment, but not a sterile environment.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Let's get right to some of the other questions. Like, what's the difference between hemp oil and hemp seed oil?
Hemp oil and seed oil?
Yeah.
Well, from hemp, okay, is the overall plant and the flower, okay, and then there's seeds, just like in marijuana seeds, okay, that come in the hemp plant, okay, where they extract some of the oil from that. So when you're using full spectrum hemp oil, okay, it's made from the flower of the plant and the seed of the plant, okay. But some products that are cheaper, okay, are made from just are usually made just from seed, okay, and some of them, the better ones, are made with both of them. And then, I'm sure you know from having dealt with drugs for so many years with your clients, okay, the more potent is in the flower of the plant, okay. But then there's certain sections or cannabinoids that are in the seed that are also very helpful, okay, for healing. And there isn't enough known about it yet.
Okay. And Trini wanted to say something. Trini, about the hemp seed?
I was just echoing kind of when I did some research, obviously, because when I first got it,
right,
I saw the bottle that said hemp oil. So I was immediately like, wait a minute, what? Because I was ignorant about it. I was uneducated as the difference between like marijuana, hemp oil, hemp seed, things of that nature. So I started doing a little bit of digging and realized that yes, the majority of hemp the majority of CBD oil is from the hemp plant,
right?
Because I guess marijuana is very high in THC, very low in CBD, whereas hemp, on the other hand, is very high in CBD and very low in THC,
right?
Which makes it perfect for people who want to do CBD without the psychological effects of it,
right?
And then the hemp seed oil, which is I think a lot of people confused it with, is stuff that's been around for grocery stores for decades.
Right.
And that's because typically the seed doesn't have any CBD in it. And it's like a dietary supplement. Whereas CBD oil comes from the flowers, the stems, the leaves, and the basically the buds, if you will.
Right. But there's also still some portions of the seed that are helpful to the body. But, the interesting thing about it, and I just learned this recently, is that when CBD oil is manufactured, depending upon the way it's made,
right,
okay, it actually becomes more powerful, okay, when it's extracted, okay, more powerful than the 0.3%. And then in order for them to bottle it and keep it legal, it has to be diluted, okay, by mixing it with, pharmaceutical grade coconut oil. And I didn't know that. I thought, you
like coconut oil.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, coconut oil is good, but it's pharmaceutical grade coconut oil.
Right on.
Well, but I didn't know that it actually the oil itself becomes more potent from the extraction, which kind of like makes sense,
right?
Okay, because it's really condensed, and then we have products that are made different ways. So we have a product that's made with gas extraction,
right,
and then we have one that's made with ethanol alcohol heated extraction. Okay, and both of them are very, very effective.
Okay.
The things that people have to be careful about, okay, and some of the big box stores and large grocery stores and gas stations, is that the cheap stuff that's being sold in the market is extracted using solvents.
I was going to say what a Malaysian kid just squeezing the hell out, wringing it out.
We actually have a question on potency.
It's almost made like. Okay. I mean, it's made in factories, but it's almost comparable to the person that.
So it's nobody stopping on them. It's not like Lucille Ball stomping on them.
Amphetamines in their trailer.
Right.
Okay, they're using all these solvents to break it down, or cocaine to break it down.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is that you're getting those solvent materials in the CBD oil, which can cause cancer because they're carcinogenic.
All right. Well,
so ours are laboratory proven not to contain that. And then when it comes to the THC free that you guys are taking, okay, those are diluted, and then the THC is totally extracted
Good.
out. Okay, so that on a lab test, and I'll have to email you the lab.
I already
lab
got 'em.
tests
We got
on
it.
Those, so
We got it. Trinity
Oh, you got it
contacted
already.
the company. Oh, absolutely. Now, give me. Now I'm going to take my dose. I know you can't see me.
I have a question here from one of our listeners.
Go ahead and ask the question.
Clara.
Why I take my dose? I'm going to put it under my tongue.
So Clara asked, is there a percentage of hemp/CBD that we should look for? Because she says she's seen different percentages on the market. So is there a specific percentage that is...
Well, the legal dose of CBD oil that has THC is supposed to be 0.3%. So that's the legal dosage. Some laboratories will come up and show that it's even less, and the majority of them are usually like 0.2%. Okay, the THC free is 0 THC.
Well, I mean the percentage of CBD in the actual product, like the dosage amount.
Well, the CBD is not based upon percentage. It's based upon the milligram dosage level. So, for example, okay, I sell 250 milligrams, 750 milligram, and what that means is that the bottles that we sell are 30 milliliter bottles. So, in a 1,500 milligram bottle, that means that every milliliter contains 50 milligrams of CBD. If it's 750 milligrams in a 30 liter bottle, just divide 30 by 750, and it's 25 milligrams per daily dose. So, like for example, I gave you, Trinity, okay, you're taking a slightly higher dose because of your stature, okay. So you're actually taking, okay, I would say you're taking 60 milligrams per day because you're taking one dropper twice a day.
Right.
Okay, so your wife, okay, is taking less than that, but now I understand she needed to up the dose, which is very common for chronic, debilitating pain. So she's probably taking 45 milligrams twice a day, okay, or even more.
I think
So-
Louis just upped his as well, right?
Yeah, I just increased mine because the pain was not going away. And,
Right.
And so we increased mine to a 3/4 of a dropper.
Right. Now, with some patients, the THC-free works great. I just had someone call me today who's an elder woman, 61-year-old, and she goes, for me, the little bit of THC makes a big difference in the way I feel.
Yeah, I've heard a
So
lot
some
about
pe-
that. I've heard a lot of people
Some
say
people
that.
feel that, and that's because of the healing
Right.
effects of THC.
Right, right.
But
Mm.
but because it's what you're taking is full spectrum
Right.
hemp oil. Okay, you're getting you're getting CBG, you're getting CBD, different types of CBD in there. Okay, so it's hitting different receptors in the brain, and then of course, with chronic neck pain, like your neck,
Right.
your neck is older than your physical being.
That's
So,
true.
you know what I mean?
He knows my neck problem.
Yeah, you're a stiff old man.
Yeah, I know. I've been a stiff old man for a very long time, though. I mean, there was a time. See, Dr. Weeder treated my neck
Right.
years and years and years ago. So it's just gotten
Can I
worse.
Can I tell them what happened that day?
Go ahead.
So you're in my. So
Is it the day
Louis
you?
in
Is
my
it the day you
office.
diagnosed my what do you call it? What do you call that? My inguinal hernias.
Oh yeah. Well, that was another story.
That's
Is this-
another
is
story.
this-
Go
I'm not gonna get
ahead.
into
Go
that.
ahead. Go
PG
ahead.
But anyway,
man.
so you're in my
PG.
office and you said that you'd seen another chiropractor. I'm not
Right.
going to mention her name.
Yeah,
Okay.
her.
And you go and I go, Louis, look up at the ceiling. And you try looking up the ceiling, and all you do is look as far as my forehead. Okay? Right? And I'm going, Louis, you can't even look up. He goes, I haven't been able to look at the ceiling. He goes, when my kids ask me to look up, okay, I don't ever see what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay? So I gave you a manipulation with my mechanical adjusting machine,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden, your neck just went all the way back, and you screamed out loud in my office going, and I won't say what you said, but you went, oh my God, there's the ceiling. and it was like, it was so funny, but it was like your neck moved
Yeah.
and it opened itself up.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when you leave it like that, the body gets arthritic because it's not used to being stiff.
Right. Right.
So CBD is not going to fix that part. It's just going to fix some of the irritation you get from the arthritis.
Yeah, I need the opposite pill. I need the opposite pill if you don't want to be stiff all day.
Right.
You got to take that little blue, not the blue pill, take the red pill.
There you go.
Nah.
Right.
Anyway,
so what you need to do is you need to pay your wife, on a regular basis to give you nice good massages.
Good luck with that.
But anyway, hey Trinity, how's your sleeping going?
Actually, yeah. So I guess we can talk about some of the results, maybe.
Wasn't there a question? Wait, wasn't there a question?
Well, I think he kind of answered.
Oh,
it.
okay, all right.
The question was basically how much the dosage essentially.
Okay.
CBD.
Never mind. I was thinking
the
about droplet.
So the dosages vary. So and I asked it part of the way. So the dosages come, and in different companies they vary. But in the ones that I sell 250, 750, 1500, 3000, and 5000.
Wow.
Jeez.
So, but that's the bottle dosage. So in a 5,000 milligram dosage bottle, because it's a 30 milliliter bottle, okay, you develop 30 into 5,000, okay, and that's the daily dosage for the day. So let me look it up real fast on a calculator.
Yeah, I clearly haven't taken enough CBD because I can't do the math that fast yet. So the CBD oil has not cured my
math deficiencies?
My math deficiencies that I gained from the non-CBD when I tried to do CBD through smoking pot. That took away my math abilities, and then I haven't been able to get it since.
And I'm not recommending this, but anyway, on the 5,000, the daily dosage is 166.66. But that has THC in it.
All right. So one of the fact and fiction questions is the difference between the hemp plant, and the pot plant, please.
Okay, so one of them is it's the amount of time that the plant is harvested. So the hemp plant, contains THC. Is basically the pot plant, but it's harvested very early and immature. It's very young. Okay, the longer you grow the plant, the more THC develops, in the bud. So those plants are harvested very quickly, and thus they're checked for low THC levels. So when you're going to a medical marijuana facility, they've gotten stronger CBD oils and marijuana pot oils that have 4%, 10%, 20% levels of THC in it, which unfortunately is enough to get you high. But at the same time, it can also help your pain be eradicated quite well.
But wait a minute, I thought the hemp plant was a completely different plant than the marijuana plant, Dr. Weeder.
Well, that's up for discussion.
I mean, my understanding is that there's 3 different variations of cannabis sativa, and one of them is hemp, and one of them is cannabis, and one of them is what we know as the marijuana plant. And it has, the hemp plant, if I'm not mistaken, because I think I've seen one, is skinnier leaves, and the marijuana plant has thicker leaves, and that's where you get the buds.
The hemp grows taller.
Yeah, and then the hemp is a male plant.
Well, there's different strains. There's different strains of marijuana. There's different strains of hemp even. So, like most of the time, the sativa plant, is the more potent plant. So it's basically the root of the plant is all the same, but then there's different strains. Like, for example, in Colorado, they've been doing they hybrid the plants where they get different flavors, different colors, different reasons, So it's really just a matter of, botany when it comes to that. But the root of the plants are basically, they all evolve from the same root, but then they're grown differently. So, for example, I mean, if hemp has THC, is it pot or is it not pot? Right now, according to the feds, they're confiscating it because their dogs are sniffing it out as if it was marijuana.
Because I'm just going by from my understanding of it, because I remember, again, I was very big into this discussion back in the day, and as the dope doctor treating it, I'm going to tell you my knowledge of what I had going into this whole world of treating it was from my understanding of smoking it and my understanding of looking it up as being part of normal early on in my life, normal, the National Organization of Reformation of Marijuana Laws. And what I was trying to do at that point in time was trying to help people understand the difference between the hemp plant, which you don't get high from, and you create fibers from it. That's where the clothing comes from. That's where the rope comes from. That's where a lot of the healing materials come from. And then there's the marijuana plant, which we just want to smoke and get high from. And so the hemp plant, I don't know how the hemp plant got rolled into this being illegal like the marijuana plant,
right?
But it did. And, you want to blame Nixon, blame Nixon. If you want to blame DuPont, blame DuPont. If you want to blame our cotton industry, blame our cotton industry. Whatever it is, they turn it into a Schedule II, I believe, substance or chemical. And therefore, when it's regulated as a Schedule II, we can't investigate it. We can't do research on it. It makes it too much red tape to do research on it. So it's only until recently that we're able to actually do more research than we used to because it's legal in some areas now.
By the way, I stand corrected on what you said, and in part you are correct.
Okay.
Cannabis is a family of plants with two primary classifications, indica and sativa.
There you go.
While marijuana can be considered a member of either the indica or sativa families, hemp is a member of the cannabis sativa family. Okay. However, hemp and marijuana both are derived from the cannabis sativa family, but they do share certain similarities. However, their biological structure is different in many ways. But that's what I was just basically saying is they all come from the root of the plant, but then they split off and they develop differently.
Yeah, there you go. So realistically, hemp got lumped in because it has some THC in it, and it comes from the same family. Because the false Aurelia that I had in my house comes from the sativa family, but not the cannabis sativa family.
Right.
That's why it looks like pot, but it's not. And its common name is false Aurelia. It's got some other fancier name, but when you go to you can go to any place that sells plants and ask for a false Aurelia plant, and you'll see it.
Right.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Trinity? Oh, I thought you were going to say something. I thought you were making a face like you were going to say something.
That's just my face.
All right, so
that's okay. But on the one other thing just to add is that when you're dealing with cannabis, okay, or marijuana, which is abundant in THC, the concentrations can fluctuate from 10, 15 to 40%.
Oh yeah.
Versus hemp, okay, which is at a lower level of a max of about 0.3%.
Right.
Right.
So you don't get high from hemp. So one of the facts that we do need to inform people about is you do not get high from hemp.
Yeah, hemp, CBD oil is not weed.
Exactly.
That's
the fact that we need to put out.
Completely different, as far as effects on the body.
Right.
In other words, you're going to be able to pass a drug screen if you're taking CBD oil.
Right.
You won't pass a drug screen if you're smoking weed.
Like Tylenol is not hydrocodone.
Correct.
Tylenol is not morphine.
Correct.
Now, what's fascinating is that I've had young millennial patients come in after car accidents, and I would go, well, how are you feeling? They go, I feel great. I said, well, how's that so? They go, well, I smoke marijuana every day. I go, really? And I said, yeah, you have no pain. I said, well, I need you to do me a favor. Just lay off of it for 3 days.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they would come back in, most of them, okay, they didn't like my saying lay off of it for 3 days, but after 3 days, all of a sudden, oh, man, my back's killing me. And then we would take an MRI of them and find out that they had disc problems, herniations, bulging discs, okay, strains and sprains. But cannabis is a very effective tool, okay, for calming down pain, and also it's great for depression. But I mean, I'm not here today to recommend that.
Right.
That's something that a medical doctor would have to make a decision on.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, today's about the facts of the fiction, and that's why I'm glad you're with us, because this is the beginning of our journey. Because there's a lot of people out there, like you just said, that are the younger generations, especially, that are feeling very educated in this.
Yeah,
and they're getting a lot of information online, but I think that it's kind of skewed because people really just want to get high. And when people really want to get high, just like when I used to say, well, it's good for glaucoma. It's good for that. Yeah, but I didn't give a shit about glaucoma, though. All I wanted to do was get high. But I was using whatever research was out there for other things, or whatever anecdotal information was there for other things, to make a claim that it was good for me.
Right.
When in reality, it was not good for motivation. It was not good for mood swing disorders,
right.
and it was not good for if you're not dealing with a certain trauma that you have experienced, or you're not dealing with certain aspects of your life, and you're using it just to hide, or you're using it just to not deal, and you wanted to say F it. Well, no plant on earth teaches you how to say F it better than pot.
Sure.
So
it's really interesting in the 70s, because I'm a product of the 70s.
Yep.
Where 94% of college students experimented with marijuana. Well, back in those days, the original initial research about the chronic use of marijuana showed that it did, in fact, even then, and then it was probably maybe 10% the strength it is today.
Oh,
it makes permanent damage to the inside of what's called the corpus callosum of the brain, which is that loop that you see when someone shows you a picture of a cadavered brain, and that can affect balance, equilibrium, thought patterns, and so on. And now with the way pot is so much stronger than it is, okay, kids are becoming addicted to marijuana.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, we got about 2 more minutes with you, or not even that. I mean, you got to get going because you got to go do your thing with Channel 2 News here locally. Is there anything you wanted to say, fact or fiction, before we lose you?
I think the important thing to know is make sure that if you have questions, ask to see laboratory testing, of the product that you're about to buy. Right. Okay, that's number one. Number two, it's a lot safer to buy it in a facility like myself, because I'm a medical professional versus being a vape store or I just found out Bed Bath & Beyond carries it, because you don't know what you're buying. You know what I mean? And number three, on some of the vape stores, if they don't have the laboratory test, walk out, because look what happened to that woman in Disney World. She bought THC-free, what she thought was THC-free CBD oil, and it ended up having THC in it.
Right.
And anyway, if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me. My name is Dr. Neil Weeder of Pure CBD Oil of Orlando, and I'm in Lake Mary, Florida. And it's my pleasure to tune out from the Dope Doctor and Trinity, and if Angel's there, hi, Angel. It was great talking to you guys.
Right on. Thank you very much, Dr. Weeder. And
bye-bye.
we'll be talking
See you, Trinity.
See you, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, so that was Dr. Weeder.
Yeah. All right, so I guess now we can get into some of the results, right? Like how we're feeling?
A
little bit, I guess.
Well,
I mean, it's anecdotal at the moment.
I still don't really want to talk too much into that because, I think that's for another show.
Okay.
I still do want to address some facts or fiction because I think that there's still a lot more questions
There's a ton of questions
about CBD oil. And I just want to make sure that we're clear on some of the answers that he gave, because I think that there were some things that I think we needed to be very clear on.
The
it
research,
is a different plant.
Yeah, the research that I've done, right? And because once again, I was pretty uneducated on it. I'm gonna be honest.
Right.
And I didn't have the anecdotal information of smoking weed because I've never smoked it either.
Right.
And so the research that I've done, just for starters, anytime I've ever, and once again, I'm not claiming to have like a research degree on this particular thing. So I'm sure there's gonna be somebody out there. Well,
Oh yeah. Trust me. There's look. Since we started the show, there's somebody out there that is like blah, 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 and we're gonna get all kinds
people
of
get so emotional about weed and CBD at the moment. But regardless, the thing that I've noticed is more often than not, when people are saying that they're getting benefits from weed or CBD, whatever, they're getting it from the cannabinoids.
Right.
They're getting it from CBD.
Yep.
In other words, the benefits that they're getting is actually from CBD, not from weed.
Right.
The weed does give you the psycho,
You mean the THC?
The THC essentially,
yeah.
The THC part is giving you the high, so yeah, you're going to feel high.
Right.
But any legitimate supposed medical benefits that you're getting, in other words, the anxiety, the depression, the pain, whatever it may, is actually coming from CBD, not the THC.
Right.
And so anybody who's saying, make weed legal, whatever, I agree with you. You want it really just because you want to get high, which is fine. Just be honest about it. If you're wanting to feel better, if you're wanting to get the results of it, then CBD is already pretty much legal for the most part. Federally it is. I mean, states are still working on it. But that was the biggest eye-opening so far. Eye-opening moment I had was when I had that aha moment of realizing, wow. First of all, CBD apparently is connected, or hemp, I should say, hemp itself is like ridiculous amount of uses.
It's a phenomenal plant.
It's insane how much it does.
Phenomenal plant.
And the fact that the CBD itself is associated, at least anecdotally at the moment,
Right.
is associated with so many benefits.
Right.
It's crazy to me.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's again, it's real important to keep on stressing that point that we're talking about two different things, really. You know, one is CBD from the hemp plant, the other is THC, mainly from the marijuana plant, because the hemp plant has very little THC, and the marijuana plant has a little less CBD.
Yeah,
but
a lot less. Actually,
here's the situation: that when have you ever voted on a pharmaceutical product?
Yeah.
I don't remember voting for Xanax to be legal.
No.
I don't remember voting for oxycodone to be legal.
No.
I don't remember voting for any heart medication, any cholesterol medication. The fact that we voted as a nation, voted on what should be medicinally appropriate.
Exactly.
Is insane to me.
Stephanie actually just commented on Charlotte's Web, and I know we both know quite a bit about that. For the thing you want to explain about what that is, because she said she ordered some.
What is she saying?
Well, she just said there's a brand called Charlotte's Web that I just ordered from today.
Right.
Looked them up. They were just featured on the Today Show.
Right.
But Charlotte's Web is essentially a lower THC marijuana, is it not?
And that's the medicinal, yes. And that's the medicinal dosage that has been approved and has been appropriated as the medicinal marijuana dosage, and that's legal. That's been legal for a while.
Yeah.
My real issue though is I want to stress that if you're out there and you're in this fight somehow and you're struggling and fighting, I want you to be honest with what your real intent is.
Yes.
Because there's people out here, like, I'm suffering real neck pain here. Yeah. You have real pains. The third party that we talked about has real pains, and these real pains require something. Now, I don't want to take a medication. I don't want to take a pharmaceutical product. So for me, my intentions are real of what I'm looking for. But had I been doing this exact challenge 20, 30 years ago, my intentions would be only to prove that marijuana was okay for me to smoke.
Right.
Because Marinol has been a medication for many, many years. If you don't know what it is, look it up. Marinol. It's been out there. It was already out there. And nobody wanted it. Nobody wanted it because it wasn't smokable. It wasn't a smokable form of THC. It was an encapsulated form of THC. Therefore, nobody wanted it. What people want and what people really are voting on is the right to smoke pot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because we don't vote for pharmaceutical products. And to put this in the hands of physicians, I know some of you are saying, look, I'm okay with it as long as it's for medical purposes only. And you think you're saying that because you're trying to protect it from being legal and used as a drug and all that. But here's why I think that's the wrong way to go. Why are we giving physicians any other thing to screw up?
Exactly.
First of all, weren't physicians the ones that screwed up the pain pills in the first place?
Yeah.
Look,
they ruined
pharmaceutical companies are going to do their job. The positive thing about pharmaceutical companies is they're going to do research, right? They don't put anything on the market that they haven't researched completely and can be verifiable and FDA approved. The negative thing about it is that, of course, they want to make money. And the physicians don't get educated by going to pharmaceutical school and learning about each particular medication.
No.
They've already done medical school. So what they do is get taught by pharmaceutical reps, or they go to seminars. That's how they get their continuing medical units, their CMEs. So they get their education units every year, and they get updated. But that's how they get it. So why are we giving them something else to screw up? Because they didn't do so well with the pain pills, and they should have known about pain pills. So now we're going to give them pot and expect them to do that right? Listen, let's get this out of the hands of doctors. If people want to smoke pot, and you think it's okay to, then let them smoke it. But that's not medicine. You don't smoke medicine. You're smoking because you're doing self-medication, and if you want to self-medicate, that's on you, and that's okay. I have nothing against people finding a way to self-medicate. What I treat is the disease of addiction. So I think we can only get to that conversation about the disease of addiction is if we get honest with our intentions.
Yeah.
If you just want to get high, then admit that you just want to get high. But don't come out and say, well, it's because it does this for me, it does this for me, it does it. Look, if I wanted to say F it about something, I'd get high. If I wanted to ignore that I actually have problems, I'll just get high. That is also part of the benefit, but it's not sustainable for some people or for a lot of people, and it's definitely not sustainable for somebody with a mood disorder or addiction disorder. And we'll get into that in part 2 of this show. But it's important, if we're going to talk about fact or fiction, let's you be factual. What is your intent of wanting this to be something you take? Because the reason CBD is struggling so hard and has to call itself hemp oil and not CBD oil and all that stuff is because there's a population of you out there that just want to get high, and you muddy the water of what could really be a good product for people with legitimate pain. You muddy the water for people out there really seeking a way away from an opioid.
Yeah.
Because you just want to get high.
Yeah.
And you're just full of shit, and you don't want to tell anybody you're full of shit, except your own friends. You'll joke with them.
Yeah.
But whenever you talk to somebody of any professional value or political value, you act like you actually give a damn about people with true health problems.
Right.
No. The issue is we're all going to suffer a little bit of pain. We're all going to suffer a little bit of emotional stuff that we got to deal through. But the way to deal with real emotional stuff is through adequate and healthy coping skills. The way we're going to deal with regular pain is to understand that everybody deals with a little bit of pain, but there's some basic body mechanics or basic things that you could do in your house, or exercise, or stretching, or having muscles in certain places that can alleviate some of that. Or maybe you should just stop doing the activity that's causing physical pain rather than keep hiding it and stuffing it and trying to numb from it. So that is, I think, an important thing of the fact or fiction, is to say some of you just want to get high, admit it, and we don't want to put this in the hands of doctors anymore. If you're gonna, because the medical marijuana places, how hard is it really to get
Exactly.
medical marijuana? Who has been rejected? I want to hear from the people who've been rejected of getting a medical
and
marijuana
that would be
card.
nobody.
You know what I mean? I want to hear the people that have said, you know what, I tried to get a medical marijuana card, I just didn't qualify.
Yeah.
I didn't have the symptoms, because who can't go in there and say, well, what are the symptoms I need? This. Well, I got them.
That's what I have.
That's what I got.
Yeah.
It's way too easy.
Yeah, I think, and when you started out the conversation there,
Right.
I was on the opposite end of the spectrum, right? Because I didn't want to get high.
Right.
I had no desire to get high
Right.
whatsoever. And once I found out that obviously they're vastly different, then I was more open to the idea of using it.
Right.
But what I've noticed is what makes it the debate hard is both sides of the equation, I guess. On one hand, the people who just want to smoke, but also the people who make these outlandish claims about what it does for you and everything else. I think if they just have an honest discussion, like, look, man,
Right.
this is what it does, this is what it doesn't do, this is what's been scientifically proven, this is what's been anecdotally proven, we're trying to get better. Like a legit, honest discussion, I think, is what's needed.
Do me a favor, fact or fiction.
Yeah.
Give us an understanding of the difference between an anecdotal message and a legitimate claim.
Okay.
A scientific claim.
Anecdotal would be.
What does anecdotal mean?
Anecdotal is essentially, hey, my friend's nephew did this and it worked for them.
Right.
In other words, it's not replicatable. It's not been studied. You don't know all the different variables. It's just basically, I saw this, so this must be true.
Right.
Anecdotal would basically be like the difference between causation and correlation.
Okay.
So correlation is, I wear a black shirt today and it didn't rain. So that means, it must mean my black shirt causes it not to rain today.
Right.
Well, you could argue that it correlates, especially if I wear it every Friday and it doesn't, doesn't rain. But it's not actually scientific. There's you can't replicate that. To whereas scientific is, it starts out with a hypothesis, they test it, and the good ones are peer reviewed, which means they get put into a much larger pool, if you will, that all the other scientists now can look at all your research data and try to replicate it themselves to either prove or disprove.
Yes, which makes if you read something and it's in a scientific journal, that has certain weight to it, because that means it's been researched and studied. Right. Whereas you read something in a health journal, or not even a journal, a health magazine, or High Times magazine, or People magazine, or whatever, that's a whole different level of proof. So a lot of you read stuff from websites and internet, and you go, look, I read it. Yeah, but it's not from a JAMA. It's not from the Journal of Medicine. It's not from a scientific journal. Therefore, what are you really reading?
You're reading somebody's opinion.
Right. And there's a big difference between opinion, and your opinions and truth and fact. And I get it. We love to get validation for what we're already believing.
Sure.
Like, see, I told you so. And we look for things to prove our fact.
Correct.
But listen, people, we're in a time where we see people on the blue side think that everybody's on their side. People on the red side think everybody's on their side. We see that we're in a situation right now where everybody thinks they're right. You have two sides that are completely educated. How can you get educated from Ivy League schools, and just because you came into it feeling a certain way, you completely read the exact same scenario differently?
Right.
Well, because that's life.
Confirmation bias.
That's
man.
life. Because there is human bias. There's human intervention. And that's what science takes away. That's what research takes away. So please, if you're feeling like CBD might be the way for you, then do your own research. But know this: we don't have enough research, longitudinal studies, good studies, laboratory studies, controlled studies, double-blind studies, placebo studies. We don't have this kind of research, so a lot of it is going to be anecdotal. So it's just like all the weight loss stuff that you've probably dealt with throughout the years, Trinity, right? You know, my cousin Sarah did this, and she lost weight, and people flock to it, right? Like now Oprah is doing the WW. Now, then it's not even called Weight Watchers anymore. Now it's WW, and because it's Oprah, people are going to do it.
Sure.
But this needs to be a little bit different. So this was part one. This is just part one of the CBD show. This is just to get the conversation started, because I know so many people are interested. We were interested. But we're interested for different reasons. Number one, because we have legitimate pain. Number two, because if there's something out there that can help you at the lower spectrum of pain, or help people that are on serious pain meds reduce the amount of pain meds they're taking, or maybe disrupt their gradual increase of pain meds, therefore increased tolerance, and therefore needed more medication, feeling like an addict or running out of their pills, then hell, we want to do with that.
Absolutely.
But if you're looking, look, I don't know many people in my business that don't have sleep issues.
Everybody has sleep
I've treated addiction for 28 years now. Everybody that's ever come in says they got sleep issues.
Of course.
Do you think that's why they're addicts? Do you really? All my addict friends out there, all my recovering friends out there, all my people in remission for years and years, is that why you have a problem? Because you had sleep problems? Because you had anxiety problems? Or did some of our problems get complicated because some of the self-medicating practices that we took got out of control? Because the traumas that we had and the issues that we had, we just didn't deal with. We just didn't deal with them in a normal fashion. We didn't use adequate coping skills, and we self-medicated to hide. Well, so if you're out there and you got some of these issues, and you take the wrong product or do the wrong behavior, because behaviors are addictive. Behaviors can be addictive because endorphins are problematic in the wrong brain with the wrong issues, if that makes sense. That runner's high to some that's healthy is not so healthy when you have some unresolved issues and trauma. So this was the beginning of the discussion of CBD. Please proceed carefully. Make sure you understand that you can go watch this show again if you caught the end, or you're just listening to it and you want to watch it. It's available at youtube.com/thecouchlive, and look for the CBD part 1, and then look for the next one, CBD part 2.
I have a sneaky suspicion there's going to be a part 3. I know we've discussed
there might
2.
Be part 2. There might be up to 10. There may be part 10.
This is a big subject, man.
But anyway, that's any closing comments, Trent?
And I mean, I think you kind of summed it up, man. I think that the only comments I have thus far is keep in mind there's a very real and very distinct difference between what most consider to be weed and what most consider to be CBD oil. There is a vast difference, and you're going after two different things, I think, with both of those.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and educate yourself. Take everything with a grain of salt. There's plenty of people out there, and a lot of them have been commenting on our feed here on our FaceTime,
right,
or our Facebook live thing.
Live, yeah.
Who are able to, who are purveyors essentially, who can get you in touch with them.
Right on.
I agree with Dr. Weeder. Get the test results. I didn't realize how important that it was until I started digging.
Yeah.
But the cool part though is the company that we're going through. As soon as I called them, they immediately got me the test results, and it was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
no
but then what
problem.
the hell are you reading though?
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. Maybe we didn't have I have no clue what I was looking at, by the way.
I mean, it's like, okay, give me test results. What the hell
Well,
am I
when
looking
he
at?
emailed me the test results, my next Google was how to read test results from TV. Like, I was like, what the hell am I looking at?
Yeah, the only reason I can even half read is because I've had to read so many lab tests.
Yeah.
But if I would have never read so many lab tests for the last 20 plus years.
It was crazy. But I think that's our time, man.
Anyway, Malva's here on the couch live.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.